Ever since Apple switched to the Apple Silicon, they changed their game. This tiny 4 iPhone thick Mac Mini can rival some high-end PCs. Trust me, this 5-inch by 5-inch tiny Mac Mini can replace your main editing rig. I have been using them for Mac Mini for the past 4 months now as my main editing rig. Today, I'm going to review them for Mac Mini, and during this video, I'm going to share my honest opinion and experience of the past 4 months. As always, my name is Pinon. Let's begin. Before we proceed, I'm going to explain why I got them for Mac Mini on the first place. And I'm pretty sure some of the viewers are also going through the similar situation. So the project I'm currently working at allows me to work from home. And I prefer working on a PC rather than a laptop. And trust me, I have a pretty beefy PC over here. It rocks a Core i9-12900K. And it is more than powerful enough to do all my projects on the computer. But here's the main concern. On idle or doing some basic task, the Core i9 sips around 100 to 150 watts. And those who live in the United States know how crazy the utility bill can be. So I was looking for a mini PC, and I was pretty sure all the tasks that I'm doing on a 12900K can be done on a mini PC. So when I was looking for a mini PC, I found the M4 Mac Mini on a sale. The usual price for the M4 Mac Mini is $599, but on the sale, I got it for $399. And trust me, you can't find any other mini PCs performing similarly as the M4 Mac Mini at that price range. So I pulled the trigger and got the M4 Mac Mini, and I never looked back. And the M4 Mac Mini handles all the tasks that I was doing on the main PC using only 25 to 60 watts. So all the work from home guys, this is a go-to device. Let's proceed with the design and build quality. Like all other Apple devices, the build quality of the M4 Mac Mini is top-notch. It amazes me how a 5-inch by 5-inch device can pack such serious power. The build of the M4 Mac Mini is mostly aluminum, but the bottom part is plastic. The aluminum shell or casing over here not only provides premium look to the M4 Mac Mini, but it also acts like a passive radiator. The port selection over here are pretty good. On the back, you'll find 3 Thunderbolt ports, HDMI 2.1, a gigabit Ethernet port, and power input. On the front, you'll find 2 USB-C ports, but they are limited to USB 3.0 speed. And you'll also find a headphone jack. I don't know why, but Apple decided to put the power button on the bottom. And the top, you'll find nothing except the Apple logo. The build quality is great over here, but I found the edges of the device to be pretty sharp. And the Apple logo on the top scratches pretty easily. On the bottom alongside the power button, you will also find the intake and exhaust for the internal cooling fan. The M4 Mac Mini can output 3 separate displays. The back USB-C Thunderbolt ports can go up to 6K 60Hz, but the HDMI 2.1 on the back can go only up to 4K 60 FPS. And the gigabit LAN port for me over here is sufficient enough, but if you want a 10 gigabit line, you can configure during the purchase. The exhaust section on the bottom is only ½ inch thick. So if you have a soft mousepad on the desk, the M4 Mac Mini can dig up a bit and it will affect the intake and exhaust of the cooling fan. And if you have a bunch of cables laying around on your desk, then that may also affect the intake of the air. But here's the thing, the M4 chip over here is so efficient that if you are doing light work or basic tasks, you'll never hear the fan spinning. And the aluminum shell over here acts like a passive cooling. So the heat that is generated from the M4 chip can be radiated using the top shell or the casing. I do light works and some light video editing. I didn't hear the fan spin that much, but when I noticed a scratch on the Apple logo on the top, I decided to buy a plastic case for the M4 Mac Mini. It not only gives protection from accidental scratches, bumps, or something like that, but also makes the edges over here pretty smooth. But here's the thing, the shell over here acts like a radiator. So if you decide to swap a case over it, then the cooling will be significantly decreased and you will hear the fan spinning if you start doing some heavy works. For me personally, I don't do heavy stuff most of the time. If I decided to do it, I just remove the case. If I'm doing light work, this case really helps. So here's the thing, the M4 Mac Mini is a mini PC. It's not a laptop, so you definitely need a keyboard and a mouse. So when you move the keyboard or the mouse, expect some accidental hits on the M4 Mac Mini. So in that regards, the case really helps. And earlier on this video, I mentioned the ½ inch thick bottom plate that can fiddle around the intake and exhaust of the cooling fan. I decided to get a bottom plate for the M4 Mac Mini. The bottom plate allows the M4 Mac Mini to gain some height, thus getting more exhaust and intake air. If you want to save some money, you can get a cheap plastic bottom plate like this, or you can get some USB Type-C hub for the M4 Mac Mini, and it acts like a base plate as well as a USB-C hub. I'll link some in the description below. And talking about the USB-C hub, yes, you will definitely need a USB-C hub because most of the keyboard and mouse, if you prefer using a wired one just like me, then you will definitely need a USB-C hub because it does not have any USB-A ports. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the build quality of the M4 Mac Mini and the port selection over here. But I'm definitely not satisfied with the power button placement. Let's talk about the performance now. Trust me, the M4 Mac Mini, the base variant that I have over here, is powerful enough to rival some powerful high-end PCs. The base M4 has 10 CPU cores. 6 of them are performance cores and 4 of them are efficiency cores. The unit that I got has 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. So I ran some benchmarks of the M4 Mac Mini and I got around 37 to 3800 in the single core performance, and on the multi-core section it scored around 14,000. Trust me, for a tiny device like this with little to none power consumption, the scores over here are pretty crazy. For reference, the Core i9 on my main PC rig scores around 2400 in the single core and around 16 to 17,000 in the multi-core. You may say the multi-core is better on the Core i9, but here's the thing. If you compare the price to performance ratio, the M4 Mac Mini is a clear winner, and the single core score of 3800 is super impressive. Here's the thing. For daily tasks, let's say opening a browser, surfing on the web, and doing some light works, the single core performance plays the role. For heavy lifting, let's say Photoshop, video editing, and something else, yes, the multi-core impacts a lot. In my use case, the single core performance is more important. As mentioned, I got it mostly because I need to do some project works from home and I access my office workstation remotely over here. So if I use the Core i9 PC, it sips around 100 to 200 watts during the basic tasks that I'm doing. But this tiny PC, M4 Mac Mini, only sips around 25 to 60 watts. You see the difference over here? But everything about the M4 Mac Mini is not rainbows and roses. So here's the thing, Mac has its limitations. But the Windows also has its limitations, but both of them can handle every task you throw at it, but both of them are built different, focusing on different work groups. Let's say you are a video editor, you like to do multimedia works, or you are more on the productivity side. The M4 and the Mac OS is the clear choice. But if you're more on the gaming side and also do some video editing and other stuff, Windows PC, there's no competition. And we all know the gaming selection on the Mac Mini is not that great. Yes, you will find some heavier titles that you may also find on the Windows PC, but Windows has far superior selection in the gaming section. You also gotta keep in mind that ever since Apple switched to the Apple Silicon, that is ARM based, so you don't have the default boot camp you used to find on the Intel-based Mac Minis or Mac PCs. So dual booting on the Mac Mini is pretty limiting. You can directly install ARM-based Windows on the Mac Mini. You have to rely on some third-party softwares such as Parallel and UTM. And trust me, those softwares can be pretty expensive sometimes. So other than that, if you focus more on production rather than gaming and some other works, the Mac Mini is still the clear choice. Based on the price, the performance, the power efficiency, there's no competition for the M4 Mac Mini. So the retail price for the M4 Mac Mini is $599, but I got it for $399 during a sale from Best Buy. So if you compare the price and the performance, the efficiency with the Core i9 12900K, with the ever-increasing RAM prices, you know who the winner is. And the good thing about the M4 Mac Mini is that the base variant comes with the 16 gigs of RAM. 16 gigs for a Windows device may not sound like a lot, but for a Mac device, 16 gigs is plenty. And Mac OS uses the memory swap technology. So let's say you are using multiple heavy-end or high-end apps on your Mac and the RAM fills up. The 16 gigs can fill up real quick. So what Apple does, or what macOS does, is compresses the apps on the background and transfer it to the SSD. And the internal SSD are pretty fast enough. Let's say it gives you around 2000 to 3000 read and write speed. So it is fast enough, but if we were talking about, let's say, a hard drive, or let's say a SATA drive or an SSD, SATA SSD, the speed over there is pretty limiting, but the SSDs over here are pretty fast. So the swap over here acts like a magic. So the 16 gigs over here sometimes can act like 24 gigs, even 32 gigs, I would say. If you want to know more about the memory swap technology of the M4 Mac Mini or Mac OS, make sure to leave a comment. The problem arises for the internal storage. So the base variant only has 256 gigs of internal storage. And trust me, those 256 gig can fill up pretty quick. If you install a couple of heavy apps, let's say Final Cut Pro, DaVinci, Photoshop, and some other third-party softwares, the storage over here can run out real quick. So I'll suggest either get an external SSD with high speed, or you can just get a higher base variant, let's say a 512 gigs. For me personally, 256 gig was enough. I only use Final Cut Pro to edit some of my videos, and most of the time I use it on my Windows PC, so I don't need that much of a storage over here. So I'm good with the 256 gig amount. So it depends on you, what you do, how many softwares you are planning to install, but eventually the 256 gig will run out. So here's the thing, most of the smartphones nowadays comes with 256 gigs of internal storage. Yes, they may not be as fast as the one that you will find on them for Mac Mini, but the amount is quite the same. And I'm using the Mac OS 15. I didn't install the 26 Tahoe. First of all, I don't find the Apple Intelligence that useful, and I don't like the UI of the iOS 26, so I kept it on the 15. And trust me, I haven't found a single app that doesn't support the Mac OS 15. Yes, I will update eventually. If the apps that I use does not support the Mac OS 15, then I'll have to update it to the 26. So let's wrap this around. Who is the M4 Mac Mini for? The answer is light to medium users. Here's the thing. The base M4 comes with 16 gigs, but the limitation comes in the storage section. I would say if you are a light to medium user, the 256 gig is enough for you. But if you're a heavy user, I would say at least get a 512 gig variant of the M4 Mac Mini. Trust me, the M4 Mac Mini can be used as your main editing rig. It not only rivals the Core i9-12900K that I'm using on the side and using to power the monitors behind, but also efficient enough to keep your utility bill low. Let's discuss about things that I like about the M4 Mac Mini and things I don't. Things that I like about the M4 Mac Mini: the build quality, the port selection, the performance, the power efficiency, the thermal management, the RAM speed, the SSD speed, app selection. Things that I don't like. First thing, the power button. The power button placement is super awkward and very inconvenient to access. The sharp edges of the device. Easily scratchable top logo. The thickness of the bottom exhaust. So one more thing to note. If you're like me and you like working on a desktop rather than a laptop, then the M4 Mac Mini is a great choice. But if you think the mini or the compact size of the M4 Mac Mini will help you to move around or fiddle around with the device, move to a different place or a location, this is not one for you. You should get a MacBook instead. The M4 Mac Mini doesn't have an internal battery. It runs on continuous power supply. So the smaller size over here or smaller form factor over here will not play that of a role. But yes, you can carry it around, and if you buy a portable monitor over here, you can carry it on your backpack easily. But the MacBooks nowadays are super efficient. They don't generate such heat and they are powerful enough. If you are a traveler, get the MacBook. But if you are a desk user, like me, if you prefer to work on the desk, then yeah, the M4 Mac Mini is a great choice. But things to consider over here: the storage size and the accessories that you have to buy to operate this Mac Mini. So if you found the video useful, make sure to like and subscribe. Help me reach out the 500 subscriber mark. I'll really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments below what you think about the video and the M4 Mac Mini. Till then, peace out.